all these, because everybody else goes live in their bedroom. And when I went to locations, people didn't appreciate it, didn't. But I'm still, yet, here's still the breaking the news. How about that, huh? Salud la gente latino, tú sabes la claro, no? So I just had something that really shocked me. First of all, let me rewind right here. Let me rewind real quick. Michael Jordan, for a very long time, many of y'all don't know, Michael Jordan for a very long time has always been accused of pretty much being a jerk. All right. We've all heard stories about Chameleonaire, his interaction with him when he asked him for an autograph at one time or another. We've all heard conversations about how he doesn't like rappers or particular rappers, like meaning like if you MC such and such, you can't get next to him. But if you Jay Z, hey Jay, you know what I mean? So this is the type of man that evidently he's gotten the reputation for being, right? And so this recently, very recently, we had never had those interactions on camera about Michael Jordan. You understand what I'm saying? Like we had never seen the interaction between him and Chameleonaire purportedly reported on. We had never seen the interaction between numerous other people that had said the same thing about Michael Jordan. Now, I want to make something clear before I jump too further into it. Michael Jordan is actually selling his stake right now. Matter of fact, let me get some people in here first, guys. Let me get a couple people in here first before I go into this, because this is going to be a quick but deep dive about Michael Jordan and what I think of Michael Jordan and how I really don't like Michael Jordan right now because of what he did. And I'm going to tell you why I don't like Michael Jordan in a very few minutes here, and why I've never cared for him. But as I'm waiting for people to get in here, I'm just going to give you a quick little, you know, Michael Jordan has been able to make billions of dollars, okay? Fundamentally off of two acquisitions. One of those acquisitions, as many of y'all know, is sneakers. Another acquisition of his, and now that he's trying to dump, that he paid, I think it was 275 million for, was his ownership in the Charlotte Hornets. Now he's selling that same ownership for guess how much? $3 billion. That's the offering for his stake in the Charlotte Hornets. So make no mistake about it, this is a wealthy man. Not to mention his sneaker line that has surpassed decades now and generations, may I say. One of the very few people that has a pair of sneakers outside of Stan Smith and maybe two other pairs of sneakers that have existed generations, meaning the Jordan brand came out in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s. Now we're in the third decade. So almost for 40 years, your mom, your daddy, quite possibly your uncle or grandfather have been wearing Jordan sneakers, all right? Jordan sneakers are not new at all right? So what disturbed me with knowing that in 40 years of history of sneakers and all this stuff or whatever, and the billions that he's made now, billions. Have you ever seen his enclave? It's crazy. Now, this is my problem. And guys, I want you to make sure you hit those links in the bottom, in the description box, if you haven't. And you can see it for yourself. It was either yesterday or the day before yesterday. Michael Jordan actually had some kids that spotted him, and it was in a parking garage. It looks outside maybe some facility or maybe some NBA game, perhaps. And it might even possibly be outside the Charlotte Hornets Center. All right, I haven't got a confirmation, so I don't know. Only thing I do know, I could tell just by the entourage, just by him himself. This was an area where something was going on. Okay, some type of event. So they spot Michael Jordan in the garage. At first, he looks disheveled and shoveled, and he hops out the car and he looks and he sees these two little boys. Now, these are little boys. One of them's on a scooter. One of them's on a scooter, like, the kick scooter. He's on a scooter, and it barely fits him. So I'm going to say this kid's probably like 10, 11 years old. The other boy seems like he's around about the same age, maybe a year or two older than him. And like I said, the links are right there at the top header in the description box. So you go check out the videos for yourself. I'll make sure I'll put them together before I even got on here and talked about it so you can see and make a judgment for yourself. And so Michael Jordan and that one person that lulled off, that must be the person that's running that. Oh, I got to get this story now. See what I mean? I'll get into that later. But anyway, Michael Jordan after being asked by these two young black kids, who at one time himself, and this is a bigger conversation. These two young black kids, they ask him, they say, Michael Jordan, they're all ecstatic. And who would be? This is Michael motherfucking Jordan. That's another one that logged off. That's another one right there that wants the story for himself. Now let me run, go get this now, because they didn't know nothing about it. Oh God, I'll tell you about these folks in a minute. But anyway, Michael Jordan, when asked by one of these kids, "Hey, can I get a picture?" You know what he tells them? No. Prior to that, he tells them, "Put your phone down. Put your phone down." And I'm like, homie, these are black kids. You're from Chicago. You had black fucking running mates on your team after team after team after team. Half of the motherfuckers on the Charlotte Hornets are black. Yo, what the fuck is wrong with you? And where in motherfucking hell did you think dissing two young black kids was a good look? Now this shit ain't taking off yet, and it will. It will. It will, because some of you doppelganger copy him, copy them, ass motherfuckers in here right now, or will be in here right now. You understand what I'm saying? Watch, after I finish this live and you see none of these black vloggers talking about this, all of a sudden they'll start talking about it. Trust me on this one. And they're not going to talk about it the way I want to talk about it. Michael Jordan, you are a complete fucking asshole for doing that. All right. And had that been my kid, and I always put that in emphasis because I don't have any kids, but had that been my kid, I would have been ready to fight you. Now I know a lot of y'all don't care. A lot of y'all like, oh well, that's Michael Jordan. No. The problem is this motherfucker has had a history of selling sneakers to kids and making billions of dollars off of black inner city kids. I'll give you another example. It was once upon a time, if y'all don't remember in this country, some of y'all old enough to remember, it was once upon a time in this country when Michael Jordan's sneakers were getting people killed. Literally. You go to any inner city or whatever, and if there was a drop, because there were so many limited numbers of them, people were actually fighting, shooting, and getting killed over Michael Jordan sneakers. And at that point, he never at one point said, you know what, let me make a motherfucking decision and let me speak about it. Let me tell these kids, and he could have done it with his voice. He was asked to do it by civil rights leaders at the time. I think Jesse Jackson had some interaction with him. I'm pretty sure Al Sharpton had some interaction with him, if memory serves me right. And nobody said nothing. And year after year, subsequently, for the next couple of years, children ended up dying left and right every time a Michael Jordan sneaker dropped. So when I saw this video and I saw these two young black kids, and that's why I put an emphasis on it, because he's a black man, dissing black children who just asked you for a photo, and you say to them, no. And it wasn't the fact that you said no, it was the way that you said it. And like I said, guys, when you've seen this on the rebroadcast, just go down in the description box. You can check it out for yourself. This ain't salacious enough for a lot of people, you understand? Because what you got to realize is a lot of these people, they don't give a fuck about black kids either. You heard me correctly. A lot of these people, they're not going to pay attention to this post. They're not going to pay attention to what I posted up either. But if you like to, it's in the description box. You guys go check out and see how Michael Jordan responded to them kids for yourself. They're not going to respond because of the pure simple fact this was two young black boys. They're not going to be interested because Michael Jordan dissed two little black boys. But had he dissed two white little kids, oh, it would have been a whole fucking thing. You don't even hear none of your biggest ass bloggers talking about this right now. You know why they're not going to talk about it? They're not going to talk about it because the pure simple fact it's not worth it to them. You crushed those both boys yesterday. And you, as a man in your you almost 60 motherfucking years old. All right, you almost 60 fucking years old, Michael Jordan. You let not only myself down, but you weren't even conscious of the fact of how that's gonna sit in them kids' head for the rest of their life. And being that all these black kids, all these young black kids and young Latin kids are lost already. You just added fuel to the fire, you stupid motherfucker. I don't care if you're selling the Charlotte Hornets for $3 billion and you bought it for $275 million. I don't care about the fact of your enclave that you have down in Miami over there on Star Island. I don't give a fuck about your sneakers. At one time in this country, people were killing each other over. We always leave out that story how people were killing each other over Jordan sneakers, and they haven't been doing it for what now 3 decades, almost 3.5 decades. So those sneakers have been out. You made a lot of money. So the most ironic thing that y'all don't get about this story is this: the little boy that was on the scooter had motherfucking Jordans on. The little boy that he dissed and told him he couldn't take a photo with him to put down your cameras. The link is right in the description box. You guys go check it out for yourself. The little boy had Jordans on. You understand? You weren't even appreciative enough of these young black men and their parents or whatever the case may be, whoever they may live with, buying your product. But if there'd been some white kids, you would have stopped. Now, this is the funny thing, and I meant to put this in the community section. I went to go look, and I said, let me see how many photos I can find with Michael Jordan with white folks. Oh, he's a totally different motherfucker in them pictures. He's got pictures hugging motherfuckers. You understand what I'm saying? He's got pictures with his wife. His wife is white, if you guys didn't know. Is significantly younger than him. I think she's like damn near 20, almost 23, 25 years younger than him. She almost looks like she's just like fresh out of college. Like I think at like 60, if you're gonna date somebody younger, yeah, but keep it in the age range about like 15 and under at the most. You know what I'm saying? He went about like 24, almost 25 years younger. That's like nigga, that's crazy. You understand what I'm saying? Unless you're trying to have a baby or something. Go check it out for yourself. You'll see what I'm talking about. They look quite odd together if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my point. But you had time for her. You had time for numerous pictures I found of you with white folks. But for some reason, and you're hugging them, shaking their hand, this fucking lost for words because you are so filled with self-hate, motherfucker, that you already know in the back of your mind, based off of what Chameleonaire told us years ago, based on what other people of color that have had interaction with you that wasn't at the same elk as you felt that was you. Michael Jordan's a fucking narcissist. All right? He's a fucking narcissist. And his narcissism just went a little too fucking far yesterday because, see, motherfucker, you got blood on your hands and you don't even know it. I remember those times when people were getting killed for your sneakers. I remember those fucking, what's the name, those lineups where you dropped limited amount of sneakers, or Nike did more or less because Nike got more control of the company than you do. Y'all don't know that, do y'all? He sees us based on the deal that he was able to renegotiate it, I think like once or twice over a 35-year period. But basically the same pay rate, minus a couple of percentages points here and there, whatever, it's the same pay rate he would have got back in fucking 80 something when the fuck stood person out. So he wasn't very smart. Let's per se, he got smarter along the way. But Nike locked him into that. And he makes some billions, but he ain't making as much off the motherfucking sneakers as fucking what's the name is. Put it this way: if Nike stops selling the Air Jordans tomorrow, it's quite they would significantly lose revenue. Let's put it that way. They would significantly lose revenue because this is how internationally broad this company, I mean this product is amongst the rest of their products. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't even have to have advertising. It doesn't have to have any push to go buy it or whatever, whatever. You naturally go buy it. Shit is on motherfucking cruise control. It's on cruise control. That's what we call it. Cruise control. So I'm thinking about it more and more and more and more and more. And I'm saying to myself, why would you diss two young black kids? Because I think in Michael Jordan's favor, and I think what he thinks is somehow or another he was giving them tough love or telling them something. Why would you try to make it tougher for some black kids that look just like you? But you make it easy for white folks to get right next to you all the time, Michael Jordan. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, there's a video that's circulating around about Michael Jordan. He's being put under scrutiny for because two young black kids, one of the kids on a scooter wearing Jordans who appeared to be no older than 10 or 11 years old, and his friend, they were ecstatic because they saw their fucking hero, who was Michael Jordan. The only thing Michael Jordan had to offer two young black kids that looked like they were from the inner city. And if I had to make a guess, I think he was at a Charlotte Hornets game. You crushed those kids' dreams, you motherfucker. And I say to you, and I think everybody else should say to you, fuck Michael Jordan. I'll even go farther than that. I think we should boycott buying his sneakers because of how the treatment he gave those two little boys. I think we should boycott the sale of his sneakers for the next 3 months. Don't buy one pair of motherfucking Jordans if you support black children. That's what I would say. That's what I would say. I say we boycott nationally, if not internationally, Michael Jordan sales for 2 to 3 months. And maybe then you'll be more appreciative when some sales decline. Now, you know what happens if them sales decline. It'll be the first time, it'll be a shocker to Nike. It'll be a shocker to them. This is how you fuck a nigga. I'm gonna tell you how to fuck a nigga corporately. All right. Once again, y'all learning something from me. All right. If you subsequently had multiple different markets say, hey, you know what? Based on Michael Jordan's behavior, we don't want to buy his fucking sneakers anymore for the next 2, 3 months, whatever, whatever, whatever. I bet you that motherfucker would get humbled then. Because the first people that go contact him and tell him about the decline of sales are going to be Nike's representatives that do all the data collection, do all the sales collection, all that. They're going to be the first motherfuckers to contact Nike. And once they contact Nike, which is usually a company that's subleased by them for just that, for data collection, the second thing that's going to happen after that is Nike's going to contact Jordan. They're going to be like, hey, these motherfucking sales are down. More than that, you'll be like, yo, these motherfucking sales are down, right? And once they find out them sales are down, you're going to see Michael Jordan and his whole fucking empire soonly crush. I won't say crush fully, but you definitely will see depletion in the sales of his product. So once again, like I said, I don't like what Michael Jordan did here. I think you're a fucking asshole for dissing those two little black kids and telling them no, they couldn't have a fucking photo. Why not? You could have bought your big gigantic black. What you scared of? You was scared of two little black kids that look just like you, and you'll not hear one. And let me point this out. You won't hear one motherfucker in the hip hop industry. You won't hear one motherfucker outside the hip hop industry that has a black face or a Latin face say anything about this shit. Trust me when I tell you this. No one of significance will aid to the fact and say, hey, we need to collectively stop buying Jordans for a minute because this motherfucker can't even respect two black kids and give them a picture when he was a black boy himself at one time. He can't even stop for a moment and give them a picture. And you right there. I mean, they were in hair's length of each other. You understand? If Michael Jordan wanted to say, hey, all right, so stay right there. Boom, he could have walked over to him, snapped 2, 3, 4 pictures, and walked back and did whatever the fuck he was doing. So what were you doing, Michael, that was so fucking important? That's what we want to know. That you had time enough to respond to them and tell them no, they couldn't have a picture. Like I said, the links are right there in the description box, guys. Go ahead and click them. There's 2 links right there. One was with the Jim Jones response, and then another one is with the Michael Jordan fiasco or whatever. And I got some more stuff for you guys again or whatever, whatever. And guys, make sure y'all support the Cash App, $ STRINGERBELL80. It's very important y'all do that. Let's try to get me up to $60 to $80 today. Let's do that to contribute to the channel. He been doing that. Yeah, I'm talking about it. You know, we got all the rumors about this motherfucker, this a chameleonaire, and we never had video of it. We have other people that have had interaction with him, and they said no, it hasn't been the greatest. We've had rappers come out and straight up say, "Hell, he don't like rappers unless you're of a certain ilk." Meaning, if you're Jay-Z, if you're Diddy, maybe if you're Baby, maybe if you're Master P, he'll talk to them. But if you MC such and such or little such and such, he ain't fucking with you. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you somebody like a little baby, he probably ain't fucking with you. If you somebody like I don't know, Troy Ave, he probably ain't fucking with you. If you somebody like, I don't know, Jim Jones, he probably ain't fucking with you. If you somebody like Pusha T, it's a possibility he might fuck with you based off association with Jay-Z and Pharrell and all that, but whatever. But for the normal man that he feels has not hit the same plateau as far as elk, as far as industry, as far as success, he not gonna fuck with you. He did that. I just said it. Yeah, no photo, and he snapped. Yeah, I just talked about it to me. You gotta listen to me. Gotta listen to me, Tamika. Look, and I was just talking about it. I know you must have just joined in. I was just talking about it. But this is the first time we got this motherfucker on camera doing it, and it's the 2 young black kids. See, Chameleonaire, he could walk away from. He's a grown ass fucking man. Even at the time it happened, he was a grown ass man. But these kids, I have a real problem with that because of pure simple fact. These are kids. Do you know how much? And this might not. Many of y'all might not care. Y'all would care if it was your kid, though. You see what I'm saying? If it was your kid and your kid's friend, you would care. Oh my God, Michael Jordan and motherfucking what's her name? That's all right, Tamika. You fine. You would be like, yeah. Oh my God, Michael Jordan. This my kid. I need to make a viral of this. So you would care if it was your kid. which goes into a whole deeper context of conversation too. So some reason or another, y'all care about y'all black kids or Latin kids individually, but not collectively. Oh, that's their kids. No, 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 no. Their kids and what happens to their kids is a reflection of what happens to your kids as well and the treatment of them. Why do I know? Because Chamillionaire was talking about the same thing years ago, and we just didn't have video to prove it. Now we got video to prove this motherfucker's an asshole. And y'all will still go out and buy these motherfucking sneakers. I don't understand it. And this is why I say all the time, maybe we need to recalibrate black and Latin culture because it seems like you motherfuckers are never bent on anything. You serve the dollar. You serve the dollar, you serve yourselves, you serve everything but your kids, your community, and fucking the prosperity of you moving to head as a culture. And this maybe 30, 40 years ago, y'all would have done that. This motherfucker's a dunce on the culture. And y'all still go buy his fucking sneakers. So once you do that, you don't chastise Michael Jordan for what he did. And like I said, the link is in the description box. You guys go check out the video. I made sure I snapped it together or whatever. I forgot which one is which one, but there's two there. There's one with the Jim Jones disc, which I'll talk about later in a few minutes. And then there's one about the Michael Jordan thing. I started out with the Michael Jordan things because, Jim Jones and Pusha T, they two grown ass fucking men. That could wait till the latter part. But this Michael Jordan thing, that upset me because that could have been my fucking kid. And my kid could have had on a pair of $179 motherfucking Jordans. That's how much they cost, right? They cost 175, 150, somewhere around there. I don't know. I've never in my life owned a pair of Jordans. Never. I've never went out and bought a pair of Jordans. I had someone give me a pair of Jordans, and I think I wore them maybe a few limited times, and that was it. And then something happened. I think I moved or something like that, and I left them behind. I just wasn't impressed by them. It wasn't my style. They don't look right on me. It's just me. But what added insult to injury was that young little black kid with dreads in his hair on that scooter who seemed like a perfectly normal kid. These kids talk like Hidden Valley, but I won't go that far, but they sounded like, well-raised kids. And they got dissed by the man they were excited about, and the man they were excited about couldn't even take 5 seconds and understand with him having a son himself and understand these are kids. So it even asks me, outside of financial stability, what kind of fucking father were you? Because you sound like a fucking asshole. And I'll never live this down. You know, I've never really been a fan of Michael Jordan in the first place. Basketball, outside of basketball, all right, cool. But personality wise, he's always seemed like a dick. You can't dress worth a shit. You know what I mean? Oh God, have you ever seen some of the fucking outfits he wears? Too big, fucking double-breasted jackets and then too big dad jeans and shit. He's a horrible dresser. He's a horrible dresser compared to all the other basketball players, Pippen, all them guys after the game has been over. He's a horrible dresser. He looked horrible in the video. He looked like he had a suit that was too big on him. I don't like this motherfucker. I don't like what he did. He's getting ready to sell the Charlotte, or he's trying to sell the stake in the Charlotte Hornets for $3 billion. But I want y'all to put some emphasis on this. And if you're a vlogger, you like duplicating and copying my fucking material, copy that shit. Talk about it. Because there's something wrong with a grown ass motherfucking man that's almost 60 fucking years old, dissing two little black kids that's sitting around. I don't care how many motherfuckers film you. And you knew you were being filmed. That's the whole thing. Because he said, put that down. You'll hear him in the video. He says, put that down. Put it down for what? These just two kids. They're not trying to set you up. They wasn't trying to bother you. They just said, could I have a picture? And there was other people out there in the garage. Clearly in the video, you see this white woman walking by. You don't say a fucking thing to her. You don't say nothing to her. Nothing. You don't think she copped the picture once or twice before in her life? You don't think half of the white motherfuckers in the stadium or whatever event he was going to cop 1 or 2 pictures in their life? And that's why I said I think this was at the Charlotte Hornets stadium, or either this was at some other game stadium, because you can see there's they have these I don't know how you call it, these passageways, because they have them in Madison Square Garden like that too, and they use that so the team, everything that bus, everything like that can come floating right in, or their vehicles or whatever, whatever, very quickly and very steadily for this, like, the prime people like a Michael Jordan or Spike Lee, or, people like that when they come to the games. So this is why I think this was at the game. And like I said, the link is in the description box. You guys can go check it out. Also, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, $ STRINGERBELL80. Y'all hit that up. I'll take off today or whatever, whatever, and go do something. Hey, who's this now? Jada Wood, what's going on? Y'all make sure y'all hit that up, man. I'll take this and move on. I haven't been out on the scene to put boots to ground in a minute. Yeah, I've been out in the house, but I ain't been in NY in a minute. So, if y'all want to do that today, we can do that today. So make sure y'all hit up the Cash App. Make sure y'all hit the like button. Thank you very much on that. And right now it's pinned right now in the what's the name right there, so y'all can see it right there. Make sure y'all hit that up right now. Spread some love. Throw $20, $30 in there, whatever, whatever. We'll do more than this today. Because I miss doing the regular routine I do. That's why I said maybe if I do a couple lives from the bedroom, they'll get bored enough. I'll be like, yo, we want you to do the other shit you was doing. Because this live from the bedroom shit ain't getting it. But this is what it is when you don't get any support. So make sure y'all hit up the Cash App. It's linked right there. It's pinned. Make sure y'all do that right now if you haven't previously. I had to talk about this shit, and I'm going to end this off about Michael Jordan. Like I said, if you guys want to catch that link, go down there and go into the description box and just click that link or whatever, and you'll see for yourself, and you'll see what I'm talking about, why I'm so disgusted with his behavior. You make a judgment and tell me what you think about Michael Jordan's behavior to two young black kids that, in my opinion, motherfucker, you are now scarred. You're a piece of shit for that. Moving on, I want to talk about this Pusha T shit versus Jim Jones. Jim, you a funny motherfucker, bro. That link is also in the description box. I just put the highlighted part that I thought was the funniest. Uh, Jim went off. Jim called your brother. I mean, if y'all don't know, the Clips this recently got back together, and it may just be for performances. I don't know, but I know they were recently at I believe it was a Louis Vuitton. It might have been a Louis Vuitton. It must have been Louis Vuitton. I think it was Louis Vuitton Paris Fashion Show, and they walked the runway. The Clips of brothers together. First time they had been seen Malice and this one. This is the first time Malice and Pusha T have been seen on stage together in years. Put it this way: Pharrell as a producer was popping when these motherfuckers grinding. Yeah, remember that shit? So the thing about it, the most gangster shit about it is, let me tell you how all this began. If you guys don't know, let me give you a quick recap. So there was some words, and I forgot what interview it was. It might have been with Angela Yee. Shout out to Angela Yee. But Jim was being interviewed by somebody, and they asked him, "Where do you think Pusha T fits into the whole foray of this, rap world or whatever?" He says some very disparaging words. I don't want to paraphrase him too much. I still walk in Harlem, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want to say too much, but it was some very disparaging words, and basically a coattail to, well, who the fuck is he? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you know a Pusha T song? And I was like, except for what's the song with him and Kanye? See, that's fucked up, right? Runaway, I think that's what it is. That is one of my most memorable Pusha T verses. Now, I'm not trying to say Pusha T ain't a dope MC because he is. The metaphors, all that, the way he puts the wordplay together, it's great. But it's just something about him that just never really grabbed me as far as the beats he used. And that was an interesting fact because Jim Jones actually used the beat that he had used. Now, this is the funny thing. I just mentioned they were at a Paris fashion show, right? And you got to see not only, and I'll put it up for you guys, you not only got to see the Clips perform the first time in years, but you also saw the Clips walk the runway. And this was an interesting fact. Jay-Z was there, Beyonce was there, they were sitting front row. So was a couple other rappers. I think Kendrick was there, a couple other people. And they played the diss song towards Jim Jones. And this is what prompted Jim Jones, I'm supposing, to come back and use the track, the instrumental, and do his own version of a diss. And I gotta say, you know, Pusha T is one of them lyrical schmiracle type rappers. As a rapper myself, formally, you know what I'm saying? I gotta say, Pusha T is one of them lyrical schmirical motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of that, let me promote myself. Guys, make sure you're in the description box. I have a new single for sale. It's called The Ratchet Anthem. Make sure y'all pick that up. Make your TikTok clips. Make your Instagram clips. All that 60, 45, 30, 15-second clips of you dancing or whatever, however you want to express the Ratchet Anthem. Make sure you go purchase that. It's for sale for $10. Why? Because Nipsey Hussle, God bless his heart, he sold his mixtape for $100. Why? Because of the worth of it. That's how much I'm worth. That's how dope this single is. And I guarantee you, after months and months of us pushing this, it's going to go viral. Now, there's a problem with the link that I have, and I want to address that real quick, and I'm going to get back into Pusha T. When you click the link, because the link doesn't have, what do you call it here, app yet, it's a very new, fresh site. Two people just logged out, fuck you. If you can't spend no money with me, fuck you, don't come back. The thing is, you have to click the link twice. They're updating the site. I've talked to the people over there, and I've emailed them, and I talked to them or whatever, and they said that's just the issue. They're still working on the app, but since it's mobile, excuse me, since it's only PC only, what you're going to have to do for the meantime is you may have to click the link twice if you're using a mobile device, depending on what mobile device you're using. I'm finding that people that have, for some reason or another, Android, they're having to click twice. So very simple instructions. Click the link. It's the TCO link. Click that link. And if it takes you to a thing that says sign in, just exit out. And then click the same link again from the source that you clicked it from, and it'll open it right up. And it should therefore open it up every time after that. That's a suggestion that the woman gave me. I've seen that it works. Purchase that single and support me today. Or you can support me by hitting the Cash App, $ STRINGERBELL80. The link is right there in the description box. Won't y'all do that? And we'll take off and do some real vlogging today instead of this live from the bedroom. Because honestly and truthfully, I don't like this shit. I don't like sitting stagnant. And that's what I'm having to do right now. So make sure y'all hit up the Cash App right now or sometime during the day and support this channel. We put in work over here, man. Why can't we get rewarded like the other bloggers? Because we don't talk the way they talk. Something wrong. Anyway, long story short, Pusha T and his brother decided to launch the diss song during the same time they were walking the runway. It was the most gangsterish shit ever. You understand what I'm saying? Because now you have other rappers sitting on the sideline, they're watching a fashion show and they're bopping their head. They like the freestyle, the exact same beat that Jim Jones used. Then I heard Jim's version. And like I said, the link is in the description box, so y'all get to hear the highlighted part of my opinion of it anyway. But Jim said shit like, you and your brother still sleep in bed, or you trying to bring the clips back. And then there was the other one that was real hard. It was like, yo, it looked like niggas been serving your brother crack. I was like, he was talking about Malice. I was like, yo, he went in. And a lot of people won't get Jim's rapping style. That's not the type of, and that's why I said, like, Pusha T beats are made specifically for Pusha T, in my opinion. Because Jim was trying to rap over that beat, and to be quite honest with you, Jim, you would have been better off using one of your beats. That's what you should have done. Because the lyrics that you were saying were crazy. So if you got to go back, and Jim, if you listening to this or whatever, because I done been around. I used to go to Santana's Town up there by 145th. You got to walk up the hill. Shout out to my boy Mike. Used to work over there. Boy, Mikey right over there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that place is still there no more. Y'all know if Santana's Town is there? I don't know if that's still there. That was Jules Santana's little store. I used to go in there all the time because I had a homie in there, Puerto Rican nigga. I used to kick it with. He was trying to get into the music industry. And I think he had worked with Violator at one time or something like that. So if you hear this, shout out to you, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button for me at the very least if y'all can't donate or whatever. I'm gonna get into my subscribers in a minute here too, because I gotta bring that up. But if you had to ask me who's a winner between the two as far as that little thing, I think it's pretty much a tie right now, in my personal opinion. I think it's a tie. I think Jim Jones and Pusha T, I think it's good. This sportsmanship in the world of hip hop. You understand what I'm saying? So shout out to Jim Jones, shout out to Pusha T. Y'all, as long as y'all keep that shit on the records and it don't get serious, that's what it is. And yo, Jim, stop throwing them shots at that boy like that, talking about the Stones. Nigga, come on. They ain't that type of boy. You know he ain't that type of nigga. Come on. Leave that boy alone. He's a rapper. He's with Kanye. All right. Moving on, because ain't much to talk about with that. I wanted to talk about something that does require a lot of talking about. Okay, y'all give me 1 second because I want to get some of these people in here. Because what happens is you get people to come in here and when you're not talking loud and boisterous and you ain't trying to diss a million people and you ain't trying to, all that or whatever, people they'll lose attention span or whatever. And frankly, like they say in the movie, frankly, my dear, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? For real. Them donations got to be up for me to give a fuck. Y'all lucky I'm still continuing now. Somebody tried to get me mad last night. So I want to talk about something. It's come to my attention. I already previously knew it anyway. That I have a lot of people that view me that either have secretive, obvious, or this directly are hiding the fact that they have mental illness going on. And I mean a lot of it. And don't get me wrong, the brain is a muscle. And then, like many muscles, if you don't work it out, and this is why I'm always an advocate of doing push ups, working out, or whatever, the mind is a muscle. And if you don't use it and work it out for natural things or things that are productive towards you, what happens is it'll fail you too. You understand what I'm saying? And as you get older, it's hard to exercise that muscle. Why is it harder to exercise that muscle? Because you haven't been using it. You've only been using the simple acclades and the simple trigger spots of your brain. A lot of people don't know this. If you don't use, there's collectively, I think there's 3 or 4 different premises in your brain. I think cognitively, the dopamine entry or dopamine response mechanism, there's collective thought, and then there's when you actually use your brain to do like a gesture, like move your hand or squeeze your thumbs or whatever. Those are the 3 motorized skills mostly that the brain uses on an everyday basis. Then there's subconscious thought, and then there's sequestered thought, meaning sequestered thought are like things that happen to you in your lifetime, things that traumatize you or whatever. Sequestered thought that you literally, and this is why a lot of people end up having to go to therapists and things like that because they have sequestered feelings, sequestered things that have happened to them in the past or whatever the case may be, and they hide them within and it's eating them up because nobody knows they're thinking about it but themselves. So, with that being said, what happened was I ended up starting to pay attention in these past couple of lives and started seeing some people really and actually bring themselves to the forefront of who they actually are. Now, I make no exception about it. I make no excuse about it. I went through the fucking pandemic by myself in New York City. And it was the most scariest time. I will always remember that moment. But I don't let it define me. But as a result, I have a couple little issues. I suffer from PTSD. It's really not a good idea for me. And this is why you always see me out. It's really not a good idea for me to always be inside, secluded, or whatever, because then you start to think. So if you're a person and that would be considered, I guess in certain terms, a mental disorder in a way, which I now can say quite justifiably so, because I didn't have that problem before. You understand? And now we're seeing that Mayor Adams in New York City and the circumventing tri-state area are now addressing the fact that the same thing children went through during the pandemic, depending on what city you live in America. So a lot of these children have PTSD as well, whatever. So this is not an isolated thing. Now, that's one thing, okay? And justifiably so. If you've been abused or you've been physically assaulted or whatever the case may be, that's justifiable. You understand what I'm saying? As far as an excuse for your mental illness, I get that. But then you have some motherfuckers that are walking around that are literally out their fucking mind. Nuttier than squirrel shit, as you would say. And these motherfuckers, for some reason or another, and this is why I say to YouTube, to Alphabet, to Google, in the future moving forward, no later than the end of this year, we need to start making motherfuckers that have previous accounts or existing accounts or new accounts and able to utilize your social media here on YouTube, you need to show your ID. And you know how I know it can be done? Because the pure simple fact, when Joe Biden passed that shit, when he made everybody now have to pay taxes on your income you're getting from PayPal, on your income you're getting from Google AdSense, from YouTube, or whatever the case may be, each last one of them motherfuckers asked us to take a picture of our ID and send it to them. Now tell me I'm fucking lying. Every last one of them motherfuckers Google asked me, YouTube asked me to send them a picture of my ID plus fill out the W3 information. Fucking PayPal asked me to send them a picture of my ID, take a snapshot. They wouldn't even let me use my PayPal account. These niggas had taken my funds and were holding them hostage and said, if you don't fill this shit out, you ain't getting your money. You can't use the app. Real talk. Y'all think I'm joking. So I know this can be done. And the reason I'm an advocate for this, because you have a lot of people online that are extremely mentally ill. And a lot of these people, if you're a vlogger, you know what I'm talking about. And for the past week, I've just watched them show up here. I even have some existing followers that I know are extremely off their fucking rocker a little bit. And some of them will sit in here and they'll act like they friends with me or they cool with me or whatever, whatever. Behind the scenes, they doing undermining shit. They're flagging my page. They're trying to make sure I don't get so many followers in here. They after the broadcast is over, whatever, whatever, they'll be like, da 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 da, and then they'll flag me. Well, a lot of those people over the past week, since I've been in the house and I've been doing these lives from the bedroom instead of doing them on location, these people have been showing themselves. And I'm like, wow. Now, what they think in their mind is, I'm down, I'm going to cry or whatever, whatever. Let me give you a perfect example. A motherfucker last night, and many of y'all, if y'all were live with me last night, this is what I'm talking about, how a lot of black and Latino people, they just like to go around fucking with each other, because they're scared to fuck with anybody else. So they go around fucking with you. So whatever maniacal, evil, insidious shit they got in their mind, they're going to try to execute it on you before they'll do it on somebody white. It's just the way they think. It's really a weak form of thinking, but they're predators. You understand what I'm saying? That's what they are. If you were white, you would be a predator if you were doing this. If you were Latin, you were doing this, you'd be a predator. A predator's a fucking predator. Is a fucking predator. These motherfuckers are predators. And you gotta be aware. Now, last night, I had a motherfucker come in here. And he went by, and it was a fake account, I'm pretty sure of it. Because one of these motherfuckers has got at least 10 fake accounts, all with different names on it. All right, that much I have figured out, and I'm pretty sure it's a woman. That much I'm clearly sure because I know how men talk and I know how women talk, and I know when a woman talks, they say certain shit and they phrase certain things that a man wouldn't say it that way. So that way, how much I know it's a woman. So this person with this fake account that said Michael Jackson, yes, I can't make this up, Michael Jackson, came into my live last night and said, I just donated $100. Many of y'all, if y'all live with me, y'all remember that. I took a screenshot of it. This is very real. They said, I just donated $100. And so I had pulled the screen down and I said, let me look. And then my notifications, I didn't see anything that said that. Usually when Cash App comes right up, I'll see it. That's why I tell you guys, if you donate, I'll see it because it'll come across the screen. So it didn't come across the screen. I said, well, maybe they donated to the PayPal because PayPal doesn't do that. So I took a break and did that. So then there was another individual. I forgot what his name was. I think it's Jada something or whatever. Another. He's cool. Actually ended up donating $5. Shout out to him for doing that. Just being a stand up nigga doing that. And he said to me, he said, "Yo, check and see if the person donated the $100 to you." And I said, "Yo, you know what? He got a point." So I went and I looked, and there was nothing there. And I said it live on the broadcast. Y'all go to the broadcast I put up last night. I said it there. I said, "Yo, you lied about donating $100," and then it realized what it was. See, mentally ill people like this, they like to be seen. So he thought because of his mental illness or her mental illness that they would be seen on my page. They would be highlighted, the crowd would see them, and they would think that that account donated $100 or either two. They were trying to encourage other people to donate, which was a totally backwards move. Whatever the case may be, either or I blocked that motherfucker. Then there was another one that came in on the same broadcast last night. And he says, how did we get into the discussion about race? I was like, first of all, motherfucker, you're late because somebody came into my chat room, which even though she didn't donate, I still wanted to answer her question because it was a legitimate question. She was like, what can American Indians do to be recognized and get their own national holiday? And I went back litany by litany how to do it. I know a few of y'all gonna get mad at me. You want to log out, whatever. Oh God, I can't believe he's talking about this. This is so unnecessary and the blah 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 blah. And I say to you, go ahead, do what you're doing. Go ahead, do what you're doing. But for the folks that know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about, let's get some people in here. It becomes a nuisance. Now, I know many of y'all don't have disposable income, and that's cool. But just like Jim Jones once upon said, and he got it from somebody else on the West Coast, homie, you ain't got a lot to kick it. You understand what I'm saying? I don't even mind that living last night that I went extremely into describing to her what American Indians could do. And I'm talking about Native American Indians. I'm not talking about Middle Eastern or Punjabi or Pakistani. I'm talking about the real Indians that were here. She asked me what they could do to get federally recognized, and I laid it down. I said, hey, first you need to talk to your local people. Then you need to talk, see who represents you in the far as the state is concerned. You know what I'm saying? Then after that, go out to state recognition, and then after that, you go to a federal level because now those same people that are your senators or whatever in your state can now go to Capitol Hill down there in DC and advocate for that. And I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. I think if any bill whatsoever would be unanimous, it would be American Indian Day or something like that. You understand what I'm saying? Who's gonna vote against that? You have to be a real conniving motherfucker to do that. And I hope whoever that senator is or woman seeming if you do vote against that, if it ever comes up, I hope they fire your ass on the spot. You understand what I'm saying? Like American Indian, who's going to deny that? So anyway, as I was talking about that, I had this person come in. How did we get to talking about race? I'm like, whoa, 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 motherfucker. And this is what I talk about mentally ill motherfuckers. You have to be a real mentally ill motherfucker to come to somebody else's space and talk about, try to dictate what we're going to talk about based on what you want to hear. And you ain't never donated a motherfucking dime to the movement. That's why I tell you, there's two things that need to happen on YouTube. One, YouTube needs to start letting these motherfuckers, making these motherfuckers show their IDs when they sign up. That's for one. And then two, y'all need to remove this little bullshit that's up on the channel up here, where I just see a emblem of a person and then how many are in here, and then a thing of how many people like this shit. No, I need to see fucking names. The same way I see these names of the people that have commented here, the many that commented here that are here right now, I need to see them same fucking names when they come into the chat. Therefore, if I see Joe Smo that's been here 6 or 7 times or whatever in the past 9 months, and he only rarely says shit here and there or whatever, I'm able to block Joe. Oh, that's Joe Smo. That's that motherfucker always doing shit. Block. And if you need evidence of this, go live on Facebook Live and see if you can't see every motherfucker that come in there. Go live on Instagram Live and see if you can't see every motherfucker that come in there. You can see everybody come in. So and so is this in the chat. So and so is this. I can even invite people individually on Facebook Live to come to my live. You understand what I'm saying? So make no mistake about it, right? Here's the problem. Now, collectively, I can't round everybody up and put them in mental institutions, even though some of these motherfuckers should be. But I got a message for y'all mentally ill motherfuckers. Okay? I'm not there with you. I'm not going to argue with you. I know some of you are just undenying, unbeknownst, dirty motherfuckers. You should be ashamed of yourself. You really should. Because no, at no time have I ever got on this mic and misrepresented myself. At no time have I got on this mic and ever been nasty. And never time have I got on this mic and anything I've said in a matter of days, hours, sometimes a couple of months hasn't actually come to fruition. I keep telling y'all about this thing that I have in my mind where I believe the business of YouTube is going to dissipate within the next 2 to 3 years. I have a theory in my mind that the music industry is going to come to a conclusion within the next 5 to 10 years, as you once knew it anyway. It's not going to be worth much, if not nothing. It's only worth 0.003 cent on some of the largest artists. That's why you see a lot of these motherfuckers running to sell the catalogs now, trying to remix the songs and send them back out, get that last bit of a dollar, huh? Y'all think y'all fooling somebody? I ain't fooling nobody. Y'all selling y'all catalogs to private companies. You ain't even selling them to record labels. You're selling them to private equity companies. A lot of y'all, because y'all broke because all the shit that y'all have bought and leased out and bad business deals and shit. But anyway, I want to give this message out to mentally ill blacks and Latinos that come to my page and some whites too. You do not control shit over here, okay? I suggest that you go get your mental illness checked out, get it fixed, get it equated, get it whatever the case may be, because sooner or later, what you're gonna find is you're gonna find somebody that's gonna find out, be very aggressive and find out where you live at, finding out where you work at, finding out who your kids are, and you might be in a problem for some shit you said in somebody's chat room. Now, I'm one of them type of niggas, as you can see, I pull up on people. I don't give a fuck. You understand what I'm saying? I like, you got the wrong guy right here. And people be, oh, he's small. I'm not as small as you think I am. Trust me on this. I'm extremely fucking strong. Like I surprise people with my strength all the time because I'm always doing shit. I got you up on my page here where I'm actually doing bags. If y'all know what the bags are, hand over hand, I'm doing them on a brick wall. And I could do a set of 150 of those, no problem. I think in the video I did 200 just to prove my point. I did it off a brick wall. Just like you do a bag, I did it off a brick wall. Somebody taught me that a long time ago to do this Muay Thai. He said the key to it is you got to get your hands to the point where they don't hurt. They don't hurt. And it's made my hands very strong. So I can't beat everybody, but I'll beat your ass. I bet you that much. And I'm not going to stop. So imagine if a nigga like me showed up at your door with eight, I say it like that. That's what somebody told me, with eight and a knife. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to go to work on you. Why? Because you threaten me. You threaten my livelihood. You don't want me to make money. Right now, as I'm talking, as this broadcast has been going on, somebody has flagged this post. And they do it every fucking day. And I got a clue who it is, but I just let them rock out just to see how far they're going to take it. But I've got somebody that literally almost every other post that I put up, they find it their duty to flag my post. I'm going to tell you why they flag it. This is an attempt to get me offline because personally, what they think is, and this is how to warp their mind is, if I see that there's a deduction in views, then maybe I'll stop vlogging. Is that the idea? That's not going to happen. I'll just take the ship and move it over to somewhere else that you're not. You understand what I'm saying? And as successful as in all the comments I hear from some of you great people in here, um, I'm pretty sure I can do it over again. And I don't have to do it with a salacious story like I had to when I started here. Well, I didn't have to. That's how it was. You know, there are some people in the Black and Latin community that y'all need to start calling out that are mentally fucking gone. They have given up all kinds of hope. A lot of these people befriend people, and at the same time, they're fucking them with a stick and some Vaseline in the background. A lot of these people have reached wits end of what they're going to do with their lives. These are some miserable motherfuckers out there in the Black and Latin community, and they don't want any more than you to be miserable with them. This is the crab in the barrel syndrome here. I'll be telling y'all so aptly about all the time. And many of y'all, if y'all are bloggers, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to be out of your fucking mind to show up at somebody's fucking. Imagine this pause for me for a minute. Imagine you showing up, somebody showing up at your job day after day after day after day and just harassing you like ha ha he ha ha this day after day after day after day. When you say and you not responding to it the way they want you to or being upset the way they want you to. See, people like to see me upset. You ain't never seen me upset. When I'm upset, I'm very quiet. I'm a quiet person in general, believe it or not, even though I talk so much here on YouTube. I'm a very quiet person. I'm used to being by myself. The culmination of that came when the pandemic happened. If many of y'all remember when I was blogging then, I've always been by myself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm effectively am that army of one. Why? Because I come from real motherfucking G's. I'm to my God. I got two guys right now that I was under their wing. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Shout out to Panama. Love you, boy. He's locked up in Pennsylvania right now. And shout out to my other man, Darren, you know what I'm saying, who's locked up in Massachusetts. Both of those guys are doing life from others. So I come from some real fucking guys because these guys have raised me before I even got into the music industry. You know, these are the guys that brought me out. Those guys, now that I reflect and look back on it, they had mental problems. You understand what I'm saying? Let me share this a little bit more here because probably those two people that just logged out are probably the people that are doing it. So y'all think this is gonna be a personal thing about me? I don't care. Because I don't care nothing about the feelings of a motherfucker that doesn't donate or support. And probably those three people that just logged out are the mentally ill motherfuckers I'm talking about. They wanted to see what I was going to talk about them about. This is not a sob story. This is a real story. These people that are mentally ill that are here on YouTube, they have to be stopped. And the only way you're going to stop them, Tuma, Leor, the only way you're going to stop them, and y'all both know me by face, so let's not play that game. The only way you're going to stop these motherfuckers is asking for their ID. That's one. Two, giving them only so many times to violate the conspiracy, meaning that they flag you and say you doing this or doing that. There's a litany of different choices when they flag you. If those motherfuckers put up a false flag, remove their ass and penalize them for 30 or 40 days like they were intending to do to you. See, it's the intention that's the problem. So I have people with the intention of coming over here and fucking with me like that young gentleman did yesterday and said, "Oh, I just donated $100." And then he thought when I tried to see the $100 there that I was gonna get upset. No, I just clicked off. Bye. Bye. Doesn't bother me, nigga. I got people that TMH Global, shout out to him. TMH Global at minimum donates $150 to me each and every time that he feels a need. You know what I'm saying? I've had very few donators that donate that significantly. Miss Foster, she'd be another one of them, but I've had very few. The majority of these motherfuckers are the sickos. And many of y'all that are vloggers, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's not pretend here. Some of these same motherfucking shit people as another person that's going. That's why they logged on too, because they're one of those people. See, they just basically go around from place to place to place and just harass people and bother people, or whatever, whatever. And then they show up at their job on Monday morning and act like they're normal people. These ain't normal people. These are people sequestering their mental illness. You understand what I'm saying? These are people sequestering their mental illness. And you see, I just mentioned that and I said somebody donates to me and spends $150. That is true. TMH Global's always spend money with me. Miss Foster's always spend money with me or whatever, whatever. I can't get niggas on here to go buy a $10 single because I ain't talking that shit. I ain't talking like in that certain octave they want to hear. Oh, Lordy, 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 Lordy. No, I'm not going to talk like that. For what? I ain't grow up fucking talking like that. You grew up talking like that. The people that live in your house grew up talking like that. Not the people in my house. In fact, the people in my house want to fuck with the people in your house just because y'all talk like that. How about that? How about that? So when I sit back here and I hear all these fake, fraudulent motherfuckers that come into my chat room, like that fake ass motherfucker with the fake profile, Michael Jackson, that probably during the broadcast lulled and switched between 4 to 5 different accounts. Or the lady that, believe it or not, you think I don't know it's you, but I know it's you. I just don't understand why. But okay. um, Whatever choice you read, maybe you find it a game, maybe you find it funny or whatever, whatever. But like Jim Jones said, you ain't got a lot to kick it. You ain't got a lot to kick it. You understand? There's a couple people in here that have thrown some very racist comments to me, and in my opinion, that's mentally ill as well. And they firmly express how they have such a displeasure in me speaking Spanish or the little bit of French that I know. I said, well, maybe that means you're just uneducated. Maybe that means you're just uncivilized. I remember Lord Jamal and his group Brand Nubian. If y'all don't know Lord Jamal, you shout out to Lord Jamal, Know What I Mean podcast. Lord Jamal used to be in a group called Brand Nubian. And I remember one of the videos, I think it was Wake Up. He said the duty of a civilized man is to do what? Civilized, uncivilized, you know? And at one time that was true, and I note that man for saying that. I don't know if that man is still alive, but there was some remarkable words that always stuck with me. To civilize the uncivilized. I'm not here to civilize the uncivilized. I think the uncivilized have their place on an island, drenched in gasoline, with a match sitting nearby. That's why I think the uncivilized should be. The uncivilized in today's society are a nuisance. The uncivilized in today's society are a problem. The uncivilized in today's society hide behind the mask of a cloak and dagger, you might as well say, cloak and dagger here on these social media sites. They hide like the cowards they are, most of them. So for a sucker ass motherfucker that's mentally ill, obviously, to come in and say, "Hey, I just donated $100 to you," and knowing that I'm gonna look at the cash app and see if it's there or not there, you played yourself. You played yourself. You ain't played me. I can tell by just looking for 2 minutes, and I can tell like right now I'm gonna look. Check this out. Yep, no donations. This is the pretty much the routine that motherfuckers have with me because they don't like me. And I want y'all to pay attention to that. It's not that these people can't afford to donate, because I had a motherfucker sit here and watch me for 3 hours one day, right? 3 hours he watched me. I went over to fucking what's the name? I went over to I want to say the podcast today so fucking bad because you saw me in your chat, so you know I'm not lying. And I took screenshots of the shit, not the front and stunt, but just the proof of point. So the motherfucker came over here and he said some words in the chat room, right? But he refused to donate a dime. And this motherfucker been around me for like 6 or 7 months, if not longer. I went over to another podcast and I just happened to just be watching the podcast. I just happened to be watching the podcast and I knew the screen name. So I went and I looked. I said, "Oh, that's son." So I started typing to him in the chat room after he had made the donation. You know how much he donated to that podcaster who makes on a regular night probably $600 or $700 a night? You know what he donated to that podcaster? $50. He donated $50 to that podcaster, but wouldn't donate $50 towards me. And this podcaster wasn't talking about shit. Nothing of original thought, nothing of what you had not heard already, nothing as far as opinion based. It could be, have its roots in truth, nothing like that. He just did it because of the amount of people that were in the chat room to see him. And I said to him in the chat room, and many other people heard me when I said it because they read it. And because this one woman went, "Ooh." I said, "Yo, son, how come you ain't donate $50 to me earlier today?" He didn't even respond to me anymore. I kept responding to him. He would not respond to me after that because he got caught. You see what I'm saying? That's why I don't have that super chat shit on. Not only the fact that the damn they take 40% of whatever you donate to me. I mean, if you donate fucking $10, I'm only getting $6. Google get 4. Kind of setup is that? You don't know these motherfuckers I know. You ain't work hard for me. Why should you get a piece of the pie? See what I mean by this Google shit? It's just a rip off. And so, and when you have to depend on the culture to help you, the culture is only going to help you if you're talking bad about somebody, specifically your own, or you're downtrodden somebody or whatever, whatever. This is the way of the world. That's why I don't believe this fake love shit that y'all be talking about. And puff, no offense to you, that love, brother love shit or whatever, nigga. You living in the wrong decade for that bullshit. Most of the people that profess and say love, love, and I'm taking Puff out of the equation, but most motherfuckers that sit around and talk about, oh, we have to be peaceful, we have to be respectful, that. Have you ever noticed that some of the most insidious, nastiest motherfuckers of all, or have been previously? You see, I don't hide my shit. I'm not a very nice person like that all the time. I'm nice to people that are nice to me. And in general, I go out with a good attitude not to bother people. But if you fuck with me, I will shoot you and everybody in your fucking house. And I'll wait right there for the fucking police to show up. And if I'm in a real mood, I'll set the fucking house on fire. Don't fuck with me. I'm not the one to do that with. And if I can't get to you, I know people all across this fucking country. I've been around the country 10 times over working with that record label. I'll get you. I'll get you. Trust me. Might take me a minute, but I'll get you. Fuck around if you want to. But I just find it weird that people like, you know how much energy you have to put into making a fake fucking account? You know how long it takes to set up a YouTube account in general. Then you have to retrieve the email that you got the fucking thing from, set that all up with the intentions of harassing someone or being in cloak so nobody can see you. Any person that's got the strength to do that on a day-to-day basis or switch in between multiple profiles when they're live with somebody, or not donate to you after they sat there with you for 2.5 hours, know the shit you're saying is real, but run over and donate to a motherfucker that's gossiping instead and give them $50 based on the fact that they know their little face is going to come up on that thing for about 2.5 seconds in their profile. Such and such donated $50. He getting it. Nah, you're not getting it. You're not getting it. You have a problem in your culture, people. It's a mental health crisis. It's been going on. It's going to continue to go on. And you're now seeing products being born out of this mental illness. You understand what I'm saying? They're children. And this is why you see a lot of these kids, they have no empathy. They have no whatever, because they was raised by a mentally ill motherfucker. A lot of these people are trying to deal with the traumas of being raised by some of these mentally ill motherfuckers who are living around them, especially if you live in a public housing project or a bad, public housing projects, poor neighborhoods, and believe it or not, rich, opulent neighborhoods are always like fucking this like petri dishes for mental illness. They really are. I've lived in mostly opulent areas. Like I keep it real. I say this all the time, and God knows it's the truth, including down to the landlord that rents to me. Um, I have never, I have hung at, I have chilled in, and I don't live in a bad neighborhood at all. Don't get me wrong, but I have never lived in a neighborhood like this ever in my life. I've always busted my ass. I've always, you know what I'm saying, made sure that I lived in the suburb somewhere, whatever. Now I done hung and banging everywhere. But as far as coming home at night, never lived in a neighborhood like this. And everybody that know me know I'm telling the truth. Let's get some real people in here. We got a bunch of jigs and ghosts and cloakers in here. I don't like jigs, cloakers, and ghosts. They scare me. Jigs, cloakers, and ghosts. Jigs, cloakers, and ghosts. Meaning I got a nigger right now that's watching me, trying to figure out what they can say to me next. And when I started talking about that mental health shit, see, they took off, right? Of course they did. You know what I'm saying? You got jigs, nigs, crackers, spics, and fucking piece of shit people all over your fucking websites every day. Y'all better motherfucking start remembering it and not forgetting it. Other than that, that's all I got to say. Guys, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, $ STRINGERBELL80. I sit here for a few minutes with niggas and then I just leave. These are probably going to get shorter too, unfortunately. So I'll probably do 2 or 3 more of these sometime during the day. They'll be like 10, 15 minutes. We're not going to do past an hour if it's not required. We're not going to do past 20 minutes if it's not required. Basically, the culture themselves have flipped on me. They don't like me. Um, I've had people try to put words into my mouth. I'm like, where did I say that at? I've had people tell other vloggers bad things about me, which I witnessed myself. You understand what I'm saying? Um, Doing a broadcast with King Payne. Oh, don't follow him. You better watch him. Who the fuck are you, bitch, to go around talking about who you a delegate for somebody? That's another thing I don't like either. I don't like these bitches that try to, and these niggas that try to act like they're delegates or for protecting some vlogger or something like that. Like you're fucking corny for that. Like, it's a world full of gossiping, lies, and untruths and manipulations when it comes to Black and Latin people here on YouTube, and it's a goddamn shame. Some people come to check me out for what reason, and you don't hit the like button, you don't donate, you just kind of just sit there and look weird. Like, don't y'all think there's something wrong with people like that, or maybe it's just me? I don't know. Anyway, but that person is still sitting in here. Maybe I'm talking about you. Maybe I'm talking about somebody else. Maybe I'm talking about whoever. But just know this: fucking with me is not gonna get you very far. And if you think you're smarter than me, I, I'll say it like this: I harbor a lot of things.